Ever wonder why trust is so difficult to earn, but so easy to lose? Trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship, whether personal or professional. It's what holds together friendships, partnerships, and even families. But here's the harsh truth. Not everyone you meet is worthy of your trust. You've likely encountered someone who made you question their motives, or perhaps you felt betrayed by someone you never expected would let you down. And that's because not everyone plays by the same rules of loyalty, honesty, and respect. In life, certain types of people wear masks. They can appear charming, helpful, and trustworthy at first glance. But behind that facade lies a dangerous reality. They're not who they seem. From manipulators and liars to envious saboteurs and opportunists, the world is full of people who will take advantage of your good nature. And if you're not careful, these individuals can wreak havoc on your life, leaving you feeling vulnerable, betrayed, and even questioning your own judgment. So, how do you protect yourself? How can you recognize the signs before it's too late? The answer lies in understanding the different types of people you should never trust. In this video, we'll break down the 9 kinds of people who pose the greatest threat to your trust. Whether it's the smooth-talking charmer who never follows through, or the envious friend who secretly hopes you fail, these are the individuals you need to watch out for. As we walk through each of these archetypes, you'll learn how to spot their tactics and avoid their traps. The key to navigating relationships isn't about being suspicious of everyone you meet. It's about being wise and discerning, knowing when to give your trust and when to hold it back. Because once you understand these toxic patterns, you'll be better equipped to safeguard your emotional well-being and build stronger, more authentic relationships with those who truly deserve it. The perpetual liar. Everyone tells the occasional white lie, whether it's to spare someone's feelings or to avoid a minor inconvenience. However, the perpetual liar takes deception to a whole new level. They lie as easily as they breathe, and not just in situations where it might seem necessary, but even when telling the truth would cause them no harm. These people lie to manipulate reality, shift blame, or gain a false sense of control. The truth to them is merely a tool to twist or obscure. At first, their lies might seem small and insignificant, like exaggerating their past accomplishments or embellishing a story for dramatic effect. You might brush it off, thinking they're just trying to make themselves look better or more interesting. But over time, the lies start to pile up. Soon, you're left wondering if anything they've ever said was true. A key characteristic of a perpetual liar is that they often create complex stories to cover their tracks. If they're caught in a lie, they don't admit to it. They fabricate more lies to escape accountability. This kind of behavior can create an emotional roller coaster in any relationship, whether it's personal or professional. You'll find yourself doubting your own perception of events because their version of reality is so convincing. Imagine a coworker who constantly lies about their contributions to a project, claiming credit for your hard work, or a friend who invents stories to gain your sympathy, only for you to discover they were manipulating you all along. The damage that perpetual liars cause goes beyond the surface-level breach of trust. They can destroy your sense of security and make you question your own judgment. When trust is broken by a perpetual liar, it's often impossible to rebuild. Even if they apologize, there's always a nagging doubt that they'll slip back into their old habits. The emotional toll of constantly second-guessing someone's intentions is exhausting, and over time, it erodes the foundation of any relationship. Never underestimate the harm a perpetual liar can cause. Once someone shows you they cannot be truthful, it's time to distance yourself, because their lies will only grow more destructive. The chronic complainer. We all have bad days. Sometimes life throws curveballs, and we need to vent our frustrations. But chronic complainers take this to an extreme. These individuals live in a state of perpetual dissatisfaction. Nothing is ever good enough for them, and they always find something to grumble about, no matter how small. What makes them dangerous to trust is that they never take responsibility for their actions or circumstances. For them, the blame always lies elsewhere. At first, you might feel sympathetic. You might think they just need a listening ear or that they're going through a tough time. But soon, their complaints become a constant drain on your energy. They have a knack for turning every conversation into a laundry list of everything that's wrong in their life. And it's not just that they're negative, it's that they expect you to be their emotional dumping ground. The chronic complainer thrives on sympathy. They want others to feel sorry for them, and they'll go to great lengths to portray themselves as victims of their circumstances. But no matter how much advice or support you offer, they never take action to improve their situation. This is because their complaints aren't cries for help. They're a way to avoid responsibility. For example, a coworker might constantly complain about their workload, but instead of seeking solutions or managing their time better, they expect you to pick up the slack. Or a friend might lament their unhappy relationship but refuses to take steps to either improve it or move on. The longer you stay in contact with a chronic complainer, the more you'll find yourself being dragged into their never-ending cycle of negativity. What's worse, their attitude can start to affect your own mindset. Being around constant complaints can make you feel like you're walking through life under a dark cloud, even if things are going well for you. Chronic complainers are energy vampires, and trusting them with your time and emotional investment can lead to burnout. Learning to set boundaries with chronic complainers is essential. They'll try to pull you into their world of dissatisfaction, but once you recognize the pattern, you can protect yourself from their draining influence. Remember, you're not responsible for solving their problems, especially when they show no interest in solving them themselves. The self-centered manipulator. Self-centered manipulators are masters at turning situations to their advantage. They know how to say the right things, wear the right expressions, and use their charm to get what they want. At first glance, they might seem like caring, helpful, or even charismatic people. But beneath the surface, their motivations are entirely self-serving. They don't care about you or your well-being. They only care about what you can do for them. The self-centered manipulator is dangerous because they often operate in a subtle, almost invisible way. They don't overtly demand things from you. Instead, they use psychological tactics to make you feel like you owe them something. They might offer compliments or favors, not out of genuine kindness, but to put you in a position where you feel obligated to return the favor. And when you do, they'll keep raising the stakes, expecting more and more from you without giving anything back. For instance, imagine a colleague who constantly flatters you, making you feel like they're your biggest supporter. But as soon as they need something, like covering for them at work or helping with a project, they expect you to drop everything to assist them. They might even frame it as if they're doing you a favor by allowing you to help, making you feel like you should be grateful for the opportunity to serve them. Once they've gotten what they wanted, they'll disappear until they need you again. The most insidious part of the self-centered manipulator's game is how they make you doubt yourself. If you try to confront them about their behavior, they'll turn the tables, making you feel like you're the one being unreasonable or selfish. They'll twist the situation to make it seem like they were only acting out of care or concern, leaving you questioning whether you were wrong to mistrust them in the first place. Over time, trusting a self-centered manipulator will leave you feeling used, confused, and emotionally drained. They know exactly how to play on your emotions to get what they want, and they're experts at making themselves seem indispensable. But once you realize that their kindness is a facade and that their true motivation is self-interest, it becomes clear that their loyalty is just as fake as their charm. The gossip. Gossips are often seen as harmless, but their behavior can cause real harm. These individuals thrive on spreading rumors, secrets, and half-truths about others. For them, information is power, and they wield it like a weapon. They enjoy being at the center of attention, feeding off the reactions of those around them as they reveal juicy details about someone else's life. The problem with trusting a gossip is simple. If they're willing to talk about others behind their backs, they're more than likely talking about you too. When you share something personal with a gossip, you're essentially handing them ammunition. They may smile and nod, acting like they're empathetic or interested in your struggles. But the moment you're out of earshot, they're sharing your secrets with anyone who will listen. Even worse, they might twist or exaggerate the details to make the story more sensational. After all, the more dramatic the tale, the more attention they'll receive. For example, a coworker who overhears you venting about a tough day at work might later tell others that you're on the verge of quitting. Or a friend you confide in about a relationship issue might spread exaggerated stories about your personal life. Before you know it, your private matters are public knowledge, distorted by the gossip's embellishments. What makes gossips particularly dangerous is how they erode trust, not just between you and them, but also between you and others. When your secrets are exposed, it damages your reputation and creates unnecessary drama. People begin to question your integrity, even if you've done nothing wrong. Gossips thrive on sowing discord and creating tension among others, and they're more than willing to sacrifice your trust and reputation for their amusement. Trusting a gossip is like building a house on sand. It's bound to collapse. They may seem friendly and approachable, but their loyalties are shallow. As soon as a better story comes along, they'll move on to their next target, leaving you to deal with the fallout of their indiscretion. The only way to protect yourself from their damage is to avoid sharing anything personal or sensitive with them. Once you've identified someone as a gossip, it's best to keep them at arm's length. The Fairweather Friend. Fairweather friends are people who are only around when everything is going well. They'll be by your side when you're successful, when you have something to offer, or when life is generally smooth. However, the moment things get tough, whether it's a personal crisis, a financial setback, or emotional turmoil, they disappear. These types of people are dangerous to trust because their loyalty is conditional, and they will leave you stranded when you need them the most. Fairweather friends often present themselves as true companions when life is easy. They might attend your parties, celebrate your victories, and enjoy the benefits of being associated with you. But the minute you face a challenge or ask for support, they find excuses to be elsewhere. They might ghost you entirely, or they'll offer flimsy, half-hearted support that vanishes as soon as things get too complicated. For example, imagine you're going through a difficult time at work. You're under pressure, stressed, and feeling overwhelmed. You reach out to your friend for advice or just to talk. Instead of being there for you, they tell you they're too busy, or worse, they shift the conversation back to something trivial in their own life. Their lack of empathy becomes clear, and it dawns on you that their friendship was only surface level. Fairweather friends are often drawn to success and positivity because it benefits them. They want to associate with people who make them feel good or who can offer them something in return, whether that's social status, material benefits, or simply a fun time. But when the winds of fortune shift, they quickly lose interest. Their shallow loyalty can leave you feeling abandoned, especially when you're at your most vulnerable. Trusting Fairweather friends can be a lonely experience. You may think you have a support system in place, only to find that when life takes an unexpected turn, you're left standing alone. This type of friend teaches a hard lesson. Genuine relationships are forged in the fires of adversity, not just during moments of celebration. It's important to recognize that real friends stick around not just for the good times, but for the difficult ones too. If someone can't handle your lows, they don't deserve to be there for your highs. The control freak. Control freaks are individuals who need to dictate every aspect of a situation, relationship, or project. They have an insatiable desire to have things go exactly their way, and they struggle to trust anyone else's judgment or decisions. What makes them difficult to trust is their inability to allow space for others to thrive, contribute, or make independent choices. A relationship with a control freak is often suffocating because they'll always seek to dominate and micromanage every interaction. At first, control freaks may seem competent or even helpful. They take charge, offer solutions, and might even appear to have your best interests in mind. But over time, their controlling tendencies become overbearing. They'll try to dictate how you should live your life, make decisions for you, and criticize anything that doesn't align with their vision. Their need for control stems from deep-rooted insecurity, and they believe that if they can control everything around them, they can avoid failure or disappointment. For example, imagine you're working on a group project with a control freak. Instead of collaborating and allowing others to contribute, they insist on doing everything their way. Even when you offer valid input, they dismiss your ideas or take over entirely, leaving you feeling undervalued and irrelevant. Outside of work, this behavior can be even more damaging. In a personal relationship, a control freak might dictate what you wear, who you spend time with, or how you handle your finances, all under the guise of helping you. Trusting a control freak is problematic because they don't truly respect you as an individual. They see other people as extensions of their will, tools to be managed and directed. Over time, this can erode your self-esteem, making you feel like you're incapable of making decisions without their approval. Control freaks don't just take over, they take away your sense of agency, and this can lead to deep emotional damage. The key to protecting yourself from a control freak is to establish firm boundaries. Let them know what's acceptable and what's not, and don't be afraid to push back when they overstep. While they may resist at first, control freaks hate losing power. Standing your ground is essential for maintaining your autonomy. Ultimately, a relationship with a control freak can only be healthy if both parties are allowed to express themselves fully and freely, without one person dominating the other. The opportunist. Opportunists are people who see relationships not as meaningful connections, but as stepping stones to get what they want. They don't care about building trust or forming genuine bonds. They're only interested in how you can benefit them. Whether it's social status, financial gain, or access to something they desire, opportunists will enter your life with a hidden agenda. Trusting them is a dangerous game because they will drop you the moment you no longer serve their purpose. The opportunist operates under the guise of friendliness, often charming their way into your good graces. They'll make you feel like you're important to them, but in reality, they're only calculating how they can use you to their advantage. Once they've extracted what they need, whether it's your contacts, resources, or influence, they'll move on to their next target, leaving you feeling exploited and discarded. For example, an opportunist might cozy up to you at work, acting like they're your biggest ally. They'll go out of their way to compliment you, invite you to lunches, and even share personal stories to create a false sense of intimacy. But as soon as they get the promotion or project lead they were after, they'll drop all pretense of friendship and distance themselves from you. They never had any intention of forming a lasting connection. They were just using you as a means to an end. Opportunists often leave a trail of broken relationships in their wake. They don't care about loyalty or trust. They care about achieving their goals. What makes them so dangerous is their ability to blend in. They're often socially savvy and know exactly what to say to make you feel special or valued. By the time you realize their true intentions, it's often too late. The damage is done and they've moved on. Learning to spot an opportunist early on is crucial. Pay attention to how they behave with others. Do they have a pattern of quickly attaching themselves to people who can help them and then discarding them once they've gotten what they want? If someone's friendship feels too good to be true or seems overly transactional, it's worth being cautious. Trust should be mutual and built over time, not something that's manipulated for personal gain. The envious underminer. Envy is a powerful and destructive emotion, and envious people often become underminers. These individuals cannot stand to see others succeed or be happy. Instead of celebrating your victories, they secretly resent them and look for ways to bring you down. The envious underminer is dangerous because they won't always attack you openly. Instead, they'll work behind the scenes, subtly sabotaging your efforts and planting seeds of doubt. At first, an envious underminer might seem supportive, even congratulatory when you achieve something. But over time, their true feelings emerge. They'll make backhanded compliments, downplay your accomplishments, or spread negative rumors about you. Their goal is to erode your confidence and make you second-guess your abilities. They'll say things like, "You only got that promotion because you're lucky," or "I'm surprised they chose you for that project," all while pretending to be on your side. For instance, imagine a colleague who seems friendly but constantly makes subtle digs about your work. When you present an idea, they offer helpful criticism that feels more like an attempt to undermine your credibility. Or perhaps a friend who always finds a way to make your successes seem less significant, subtly implying that you didn't really deserve them. This type of behavior can chip away at your self-esteem, making you feel insecure even when you should be celebrating your achievements. What makes envious people particularly hard to deal with is their passive-aggressive approach. They don't openly confront you, so it's hard to call them out without feeling like you're overreacting. But make no mistake, their jealousy is toxic, and if you continue to trust them, they will keep finding ways to undermine you. Envious people can't stand to see others rise, and they'll do whatever they can to pull you down to their level. To protect yourself from an envious underminer, it's important to recognize their behavior for what it is, an expression of their own insecurities. Their attempts to sabotage you are not a reflection of your worth, but of their inability to handle someone else's success. By distancing yourself from these individuals and surrounding yourself with genuinely supportive people, you can safeguard your mental and emotional well-being while continuing to thrive. The boundary breaker. Boundary breakers are individuals who don't respect personal limits. They invade your space, emotionally, physically, or mentally, without regard for your comfort or well-being. Trusting a boundary breaker is difficult because they don't recognize the importance of mutual respect. They feel entitled to your time, energy, and attention, and they will push past any boundaries you set, often making you feel uncomfortable or overwhelmed. Boundary breakers may not always have malicious intent, but their behavior is damaging nonetheless. They might show up unannounced at your home, interrupt your private conversations, or demand your attention even when you've expressed a need for space. They disregard your no and push you into situations you don't want to be in. Over time, their disregard for your boundaries can lead to feelings of resentment and frustration. For example, imagine you've had a long day and need some time to yourself to recharge. A boundary breaker friend calls, insisting that you hang out even after you've explained that you're not up for it. Instead of respecting your need for alone time, they guilt-trip you, making you feel bad for setting a boundary. Or perhaps at work, a colleague constantly interrupts your tasks with unnecessary questions or requests, ignoring your clear need to focus on your responsibilities. Boundary breakers often struggle with the idea that other people's needs and desires might differ from their own. They may view boundaries as personal rejections, which is why they push against them so forcefully. In their minds, if they don't want space, why should you? This self-centered mindset makes it difficult to trust them, as they fail to see the importance of mutual respect and consideration. To deal with a boundary breaker, it's essential to be firm and consistent in setting your limits. Clearly communicate what's acceptable and what's not, and don't be afraid to reinforce those boundaries when they're crossed. While some people may learn to respect your limits over time, others may continue to push against them. In these cases, it's important to evaluate whether the relationship is worth maintaining, as constant boundary violations can take a toll on your mental and emotional health. Now that we've taken a deep dive into the 9 types of people you should never trust, it's time to reflect. Trust is like a fragile thread. It can be woven into something beautiful, but it can just as easily be snapped if placed in the wrong hands. The people we choose to trust play a significant role in shaping our experiences, our happiness, and even our future. And while it may seem harsh to categorize individuals as untrustworthy, doing so is an act of self-preservation. After all, life is too short to be constantly looking over your shoulder or cleaning up the emotional wreckage left behind by someone who wasn't worthy of your trust in the first place. If there's one key takeaway from this, it's this: trust should be earned, not given freely. Some people are masters at pretending to be something they're not, and it's our responsibility to see beyond their masks. The charming liar might make you feel special, but they'll betray you when it suits them. The envious friend may clap for your success, but secretly hope for your failure. The manipulator might make you feel dependent on them, but their loyalty is only to themselves. These individuals don't deserve a place in your life because they will never offer the same level of trust and respect that you give to them. But here's the good news. While it's essential to be cautious of the wrong people, there are also plenty of individuals out there who are truly trustworthy, people who will support you, lift you up, and celebrate your success without an ounce of envy. Surrounding yourself with these kinds of people is one of the most valuable investments you can make. They are the ones who will stand by you during both your brightest and darkest moments, without an agenda, without manipulation, just genuine friendship and support. As you move forward, keep these lessons close. Don't let one bad experience make you cynical or closed off from the world, but also don't ignore the red flags that certain people might present. Trust is a powerful currency. Don't spend it recklessly. Remember, you have the power to choose who you allow into your life. Be wise with your trust, because it's one of the most precious things you can offer someone. And when you find those who truly deserve it, you'll realize that building trust with the right people is one of the most rewarding aspects of life. Surround yourself with those who honor your trust, and you'll build relationships that not only stand the test of time, but also enrich your journey in ways you never imagined. Stay sharp, stay discerning, and most importantly, protect your peace. The people you allow into your inner circle should elevate you, not drain you. Because at the end of the day, trusting the right people is not just about protecting yourself. It's about empowering yourself to live the fullest, most authentic life possible. Thank you for watching, and until next time, live with purpose, live with strength, and live with wisdom. Until we meet again, may your nights be peaceful and your days be full of purpose. Stay stoic.